I'm Lady Bodam Taiwo, and I'm going to be your host over the next 4 days. For a few things. Number one, to build a 360-degree type of woman, right? So to understand that femininity, our femininity, who we are as women, is a strength for personal growth and fulfillment. I want you to really be fulfilled in the life that you have, not the life that you wish Lady Bodam had, or not the life that one of our other speakers had.
To find the courage to take responsibility for my own self, not to wait for favors, not to settle or to make excuses, but just to be courageous enough to say my life and I'm accountable for myself, and to be able to chart that course for myself. I think that's the biggest lesson I learned from my dad. Inside of emotion is power. Inside of emotion is power, and I say that again. So this whole thing that when we talk about emotional intelligence, the way I like to look at it is emotional intelligence represents someone who is in control of their own power. It is how well you are in control of your power, because we are women, we are girls. So be to your own self, be true. Be true to yourself. Be centered around who you are, what your boundaries are, and navigate by it. You'll be all right. Don't compromise your values just because you want to get ahead. It doesn't last, because after a while, you won't be satisfied. You won't be happy. So stay true to yourself. Know your boundaries. Navigate by your own values. That's such a very interesting question. To be honest, Victoria, I don't think that the leadership qualities that we should hunger for should change whether we are 18 or 50. Let me just start from there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I think that in the end, leadership is about first leading yourself and recognizing what it takes to get what you need from others, and helping them and deploying yourself and your relationship with them to get that outcome.
Hello, ladies, and welcome to day 2 of the Refined Ladies Summit 2023. Now is a great time to do a little dance. I've been dancing since yesterday. Welcome. Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know you can. Fantastic. Welcome. Good evening. good morning, good afternoon, good day, depending on where you're joining us from, and officially welcome to day 2. Yesterday, we had women joining from literally all across the world. I had someone joining from Estonia, Canada, the United Kingdom, Nigeria, South Africa, I think, Kenya, Ghana, and on and on and on. So a warm welcome to my sisters from all across the world. It's truly a joy to host you. If you're joining us for the first time today, a super warm welcome to you. My name is Lady Bodam, and I am the host of the Refined Ladies Summit 2023. Now, before we get into the things, how was yesterday for you? Who was here yesterday? Let me know. We did a short recap a few seconds ago, but how was yesterday for you? Give me those one-word answers. How did you find yesterday? Let me know. Gonna give it to me. Good evening, ladies. It's such a joy to see you. Let me know how yesterday with Adenike was for you. We spoke about strategic thinking and emotional intelligence as female leaders. You remember, right? So how did that go for you? It was for me. It was okay. I'm seeing Adisa says it was amazing. Ojola says it was phenomenal. It was mind blowing. It was deeply insightful. It was inspiring. It was enlightening. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, Grace, thank you so much for the compliment. Margaret says it was mind blowing. Kemi says it was amazing. It was, yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. You received light. I love it. Ayomide. Amide says, all I can say is I received light. Grace says yesterday was beautiful. Favor says it was refreshing. Who else? Ibilola says it was inspiring. Aressa says it was eye-opening. Abiola says it was impactful. Fantastic. Look at those beautiful words. I learned a lot. Buchi says yesterday it was memorable in so many actionable lessons. Hey, that's what I like to hear. Bolu says it was enlightening. AME, Ayomira Essay said it was really inspiring. I love to hear it. I love to read it, as the case may be. It was truly heartwarming. Adenike came with the right level of fire. Yay! Yvonne says, good evening, Yvonne. She said it was very good insights from Adenike. Very inspiring to hear about her experience. Love to read it. Fantastic. So that was yesterday. We've not taken it down. If you could not watch it, or you could not stay to the end, or you came late, I got you, right? So it's on my YouTube channel. Run all over to my YouTube channel after today. Don't run now. Run after today to the YouTube channel and just go and feast with your notepad and, for all the things Adenike said to us yesterday. Now, before we get into today, we're going to do a little brain teaser. Let me know if you're ready for our brain teaser, fastest finger type of questions. I just want to read from you. Remember, I said, if we're doing this the way I want to do it, and some of us are going to be doing it on Saturday, we'll be relaxing around tables with our mocktails/cocktails/glasses of wine or water or whatever it is that catches your fancy, and we'll be having this face-to-face conversation. But since we can't do that until Saturday, you're going to engage with me in the comment section, isn't it? So I want to see you. I want to read from you. All the things I'm asking, I'm going to read from you, right? So I'm going to ask you a few questions because I just want to understand who you are, what's happening with you, and just get your thoughts. Are my questions ready? Question number 1, drum roll. Let me know if my people are ready. Are my people ready? Let me know in the comment section. Say, Lady Bodam, we're ready. We're ready. Okay, Oluremi says I should bring it on. Fantastic. This is the energy I need. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for the questions for today? Okay, you're ready. Lami says we're ready with many Y's, and if you're so ready, you're ready, you're ready. Lady Bodam, we are ready. AME, fantastic. I'm ready for you. You're ready. Okay. Question number 1, hit me. What's our question number 1? Question number 1. What is one book that changed your life? Remember, I'm learning from you. We're learning from one another. So now you're telling me, what's one book you read that changed your life? Tell me, one book you read that changed your life. For me, in 2019, I read a book that's called Believe Bigger by Martian Evans Daniels, I believe. And I remember I was reading it and I was wailing and crying and blowing my nose and sending my coach some messages like, what is going on? But I loved it. Oh, look at my sister. Lua Tomisin also loves Believe Bigger. I love it. Titilaya says Better Than Good by Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar, apologies. Adeswa said Destined to Reign by Joseph Prince. Okay, Vuchi says The Imitation of Christ. That's such a great one by Thomas A. Kempis. I love it. Ololade says Teacher Chuku 2019 by Opeyemi. I have to look for that one. Lami says Boundaries by Henry Clyde and John Townsend. That's a great book as well. Bukola says The Power of Your Mind by Chris Oyakilome. I haven't read that one. Okay, let me know what other books. One book that changed your life, that changed your mindset, that significantly, shifted the way you think about things. Let me know. Okay, we're going to move to the second question real quick because I don't want us to waste time. Ojola says, okay, Aresa says To My Younger Self by Ronke Onadeko. Amazing. I'm going to look for that one. Ojola Biona says Nelson Mandela Dare Not Linger. I love it. I'm going to read that one as well. I haven't read that. Fantastic. Abiola says A Woman After God's Own Heart by Elizabeth George. I read that book many years ago and I loved it. Fantastic. Okay, question number two. Where's my question number two? Would you rather time travel to the past or to the future? Let me know. If you had a choice, you had a time travel machine, would you rather go to the past or would you rather go to the future? I would rather go to the future. I'm not interested in changing anything that happened in the past. I want to go and, really sort out some things in my future. So I will go quite a few years. Yeah, AME is with me. She's like, to the future. Oluwatomisin is to the future. Another day is future. Oh, yay! My big sis is in the building. Adedayo Shobande to the future. Our many. So the spaceship to the future is going to be full, which is us to the future, applying lessons from the past. That's it. Nana, the future, all the way, the future. Ah, fantastic. Nobody wants to go to the past. All right, awesome. Future. Great. Question number 3. Let's go. Would you, no, this is question 2. Question number 3. If you could have lunch with anyone, living or dead, who would that person be? Open, blank slates. Whether you know the person, whether you don't know the person, if you could have lunch with anyone, who would that person be? Let me know. Anybody? Adenike is going to the future. Okay. Hey, World Bank president for DDK. Of course, she has to be, gang like that. DDK is going to the World Bank president, having lunch with the World Bank president. Noah Kaigo is having lunch with Bob Proctor. Hey, Lami is having lunch with me. Toast me just a little bit. Can you highlight that one, please? Let's leave it on that for a second. Which is having lunch with Therese of Lisieux. There's something there actually. Ibukun Awoshika, Jedaya Shobade says. Pastor E.A. Adeboye, Ayomari Essay says, Adenika is saying Cindy Trim. Bukola is saying DDK. Some people are shooting their shots codedly, like, let's just be. Nifemi Olawande, that's a powerhouse, Ayomide. Fantastic. Who else? Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Oh, yeah, this is a great one. Actually, they're all great choices. I see Michelle Obama or Beyonce. Gang. Come on. Nana says DDK. Apostle Paul. Hey, RSS. She's like, let's have a conversation. Yvonne says Nelson Mandela, Christine Lagarde, and Jean-Paul Sartre. I hope I'm sure I've murdered that name now, but it's okay. Fantastic. Ojo. I know Luakpo says Adisa. Oyetomi Adisa. My sister. Opeyemi says Ibukun Awoshika. Who else do we have? Oprah Winfrey. I was actually looking at her Instagram stories today and just, dreaming of some things over there. Dr. Shea says Michelle Obama, you and I together. Fantastic. Okay, let's move on. Question number, I've lost track now. Next question. Number 4, I think. Number four. If you could have a superpower, any superpower in the world, what would it be? Would you be able to, I don't know, would you be like Iron Man? Would you be like Captain America? Would you be like Superman? Would you be like, hey, I love this answer actually. I would have it with my future self. Brown says should have lunch with her future self. My goodness, that's a whole other thing we're not going to get into today. So good. All right, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? Any superpower in the world. Would it be the power to be in multiple places at once? Would it be the ability to be invisible? The ability to speak all the languages in the world? Wow. Okay, I love it. Larimore says, I would just be a healer. Okay. Oluremi says, to make money just by thinking about it. Oluremi, you and I are going to share that superpower, right? Titilaya says telepathy. Ivan says teleportation. Olamide says the ability to read people's minds. Sometimes I'm like, that's a great one, but at the same time, like, do I really want to know what they're thinking? Areseti wants to read minds. Okay. Oh, wow. There are many people that want to read minds. Ojola wants to read minds as well. Olushola wants to hear unspoken words. Ayomide wants to teleport right along with Ivan. Abiola Anishare wants to transit heaven and earth at will. Oshe, sorry. Which is like to read people's hearts and to bilocate, make money on impulse. Margaret Adeyemi says, I know Olakpo wants the ability to help everyone. So good. So good. So good. I'm loving these superpowers. Okay, let's go to the next question. Our next question real quick. Let's see, we might do 5 now and do the rest tomorrow. What's the most interesting place you've ever visited? The most interesting place you've ever visited. What would that be for you? Tell me. Most interesting place you've ever visited. Interesting place. Somebody asked me this question recently, and I was saying, that I don't know, because sometimes I think the place depends on the place I'm visiting depends on the people I'm with, right? Amide says church. Ayomide, expand your world. The most interesting place you've ever visited. No, I'm not taking that answer. No. All right, let me know. What's the most interesting place, the most interesting city, the most interesting country? Venice. Look at that. Omomi says Venice. Fantastic. I love it. I would say, who asked exactly? Van was there when I was asked the question. Yeah, and I was thinking, what's the most interesting place? It depends on the person. Lami says the beach. God's work thrills her. I love it. Cape K. Coker, Belize, which he just want me to show my ignorance right about now, but that's all right. Olamide says Landmark Beach, Lagos. Okay. Oluremi says nowhere, so you need to go out more. You need to visit more places. Ojola says for now the Eiffel Tower. Adeyeye says a beach resort in Lagos. Okay. Awesome. Nowhere yet. Nana says looking forward to visiting. Fantastic. Let's do one more question. And then we move on. One more question. Oh, someone says Biosphere Reserve in Ogun State. Is that Biosphere Forest Reserve in Ogun State? Fantastic. Ivan says Cordoba in Spain, Iguazu Waterfalls in Argentina and Brazil, and Rio de Janeiro. And Joy says Landmark Beach at night. She was very specific, not during the day, but at night. Fantastic. Now, what do you want people to remember you for? This is the final question we're going to take now so we can move on. What do you want people to remember you for? If you could think of your one sentence, if you looked at your tomb, and I know we usually don't like doing this, but it's okay. If you had your tomb over there, what would you like to be written on your tomb? Here lies XYZ after 500 years on earth, because some of us are Africans and you don't like talking about death. Okay. So after 500 years on earth, here lies the sun. So I love it. Grace says love for humanity. Your love for humanity. Okay. Bucci says, as one who lived for love, held no grudges, gave without counting the cost, created art that helped people lift their hearts to God until they become one with Him. So beautiful. Lami says, my helpful advice and kind words. Titilaya says, love and impact. Joy says, my words and deeds. Oluwatomisin says, a transformer of lives. Ayomare Esse says, a girl who loved Jesus, loved people, and made a difference. Media said, making Christ known. Blessing said, a person who impacted lives and fulfilled purpose. Ojola says, inspiring people to be a better version, inspirational. Learn More says, how I changed and touched their lives for good. Abiola says a woman that walked in love. Nena says one who impacted lives. Arese said compassion. Ololade said here lies she who transformed everyone she came in contact with. So good. Opemi said a life of love. Blessing said a woman who showed us Jesus. Oluremi says here is the one who brought peace and rest to all and sundry. Ojenike says you were able to transform life. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now I'm going to ask you to write this down, what you just said to me in here. Write it down in your notebook, because over the next few days, weeks, months, years, I want you to think, for you to be this woman who transformed everyone she came into contact with, for you to be this woman who brought peace and rest to all and sundry, for you to be this woman, a virtuous woman, for you to be a woman who lived an impactful life, or who had a godly heritage, for you to be a woman who showed us Jesus, or who showed us compassion, or who, whatever it is you want to say, what would you have to do starting from today? What would you have to do starting from the moment you wake up tomorrow? This is the picture. Remember when Adenike was speaking yesterday, one of the things she said to us was that we should put before us a picture of the type of woman that we want to be. And that every day we should check ourselves against that picture. We should deploy ourselves deliberately to live up to this picture of who it is that we want to become. And when we get in at the end of the day, to ask ourselves, am I the person that I wanted to deploy deliberately this morning? Or do I have to work harder? Or do I have to do a few other things to become more the woman that I wanted to become? Right? Okay, fantastic. Now my guest is in the building and I'm super excited. Today, we are speaking on female leadership in entrepreneurship. And today's conversation is going to be slightly different. It's interview style. Like I have, I am asking some of the questions that myself, I want answers to. So if you have questions from when we start, just begin to put your questions in the comment section so that we can take your questions. Female leadership in entrepreneurship is what we're discussing today. And we're going to play an introduction video shortly. But before we do that, I want to tell you, I'm telling you my own personal stories about all of my speakers. Now, I think it was 2 years ago now. I don't think it was last year. I've forgotten the year. I think 2 years ago. I went off to Dubai with, I think it was last year actually. I went off to Dubai with my coach. And if you know me, you should know who my coach is, right? My sister, my coach. Let me not be distracted. Anyway, so I went off to Dubai for this coaching retreat. And while I was there, there was this soft-spoken lady who kept on, are you okay? And she checked us in. And I remember I filled a form before going out saying what I was allergic to. So I happened to be allergic to crustacean shellfish, in particular crab, right? And other things that I hadn't eaten before that day that I found out I was allergic to crab. And we were at this dinner, I think on day 3 or day 4, and all the food was coming round. And I was about to help myself to something. And immediately, bear in mind, we're not 2 or 3 on this coaching retreat. I'm sure we're about 20 ladies. And she immediately says, oh no, you can't have this. Remember, you're allergic to ABC. And I'm like, How many of us was she thinking about? How often did she read the form that we filled? How often did she think about each of the participants of that coaching retreat? I felt seen by her. I felt loved by her. And I had made a firm commitment that this woman is going to be my friend, whether she likes it or not. And here we are today. So she had no choice from ab initio, because I committed firmly in my heart that she was going to be my friend. And it gives me great joy, great pleasure today to be having a conversation with a woman I truly admire, truly respect. I love her heart. And you see what I mean in just a minute. So don't touch that dial. Stay tuned. We're going to play the introduction video, and then I'm going to bring up Omomi Etiku. Oyomi, over to you.
Omomi Etiku is a hospitality expert with over 14 years of experience in hospitality management, human resources, travel and tourism, and logistic management across various industries. She is the founder and CEO of Nusafari Hospitality Group, which comprises the Nusafari Experience, focused on luxury bespoke travel and retreats, and Nusafari Consulting, focus on human resource and hospitality management. As the lead travel curator at New Safari Experience, Omomi collaborates with international partners, event planners, and venues to create unique and seamless travel experiences for our clients, providing end-to-end travel and logistics services. With a background in psychology, she designs bespoke journeys that foster learning, cultural immersion, and personal growth, allowing travelers to explore new cultures, taste sight, and sound. Under New Safari Consulting, Omomi is an HR consultant specializing in the hospitality industry. She offers an altruistic approach of HR solutions to SMEs with particular focus on organizational wellness, performance management, and work-life balance. With a background in HR and learning and development, she has successfully designed and executed corporate retreats and seminars for a variety of clientele. As managing consultant for Island Breeze, a beachside restaurant, lounge, and day resort, Omomi and her husband endeavor to establish a serene and idyllic atmosphere in and around Lagos, providing a sanctuary for individuals to unwind, rest, and disconnect from their busy daily lives. Her primary focus is to help guests reconnect with their inner beings and achieve a state of total relaxation and rejuvenation. Her diverse clientele ranges from individuals, families, and leisure groups to corporates and celebrities, catering to a wide array of experiences such as destination birthdays, weddings, getaway, retreats, conferences, and spiritual cleansing experiences. She actively promotes inbound tourism and possesses a deep passion for innovation, helping people and delivering exceptional service in the tourism and hospitality industry. Her commitment to supporting local talent is evident through her involvement in initiatives that push the boundaries of creativity, art, and culture in Nigeria. Some notable collaborations include Kids Zone at Landmark Beach, the Dance World Africa Conference, and at X Lagos. Her repertoire includes esteemed themes such as Immerse Inner Circle, Landmark Africa, Tangerine, the Discovery Center, Hans and Renee, Omilola Oshikoya International, Navitas, and more. Omomi and a dedicated team have executed countless unforgettable bespoke travel experiences, conferences, and group destination celebration across 6 out of 7 continents. She adeptly manages and oversees all aspects of a business, consistently prioritizing the delivery of authentic, exceptional, and transformative customer experiences. In 2016, Omomi won the prestigious SME Boutique Women's Exclusive Club SWC Accelerator Program Page competition sponsored by Adosa Microfinance, which recognized her as a leading female entrepreneur to watch in Nigeria. Her passion for God, purpose, and service extends beyond her business ventures as she actively serves through specific organizations and foundations. She is committed to making a positive impact in the lives of children, widows, and society. Her educational background includes a BA in psychology from the Catholic University of America, an MSc in human resources management from the University of Sheffield. Ladies, please welcome Omomi Etiko to the Refined Ladies Summit 2023.
Okay. Hello. How are you?
I am
great. How are you? Wow, I was
I
listening to that. I'm like, okay, God.
Is this me? Yes, it's you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, first off, for saying yes, even though I sort of ambushed you in, but thank you for saying yes. And I'm seeing the welcomes are coming in. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to jump right into this because I know, we have a billion and one questions, and I want us to get through as many as we can get through today. I think a great way for us to start our conversation would be to start just by asking about your own journey into entrepreneurship and how did you get here? What entered into your mind before you decided to found the new Safiri Hospitality Group? Why hospitality, right? And just tell us a little bit about your journey to this point.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This is amazing. I'm so excited. I feel like there's just so much that God wants us to do here, and I'm really, really thrilled to be here. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, so my journey. Um, I used to work as an HR consultant in a bank, and it was great. It was a great job. It was actually a great job. And I started to feel kind of like I wasn't really in the right place. And why? Because yes, I was working in HR. Yes, I was taking care of people. But I felt that I couldn't really feel them the way I wanted to feel them. And I felt they couldn't really feel me the way I wanted them to feel me. And by saying feel me, I really mean feel Jesus. That's really what I mean, because it's not about feeling me, right? But feeling the love of Christ through me. So I kind of felt like my job was in the way of that, which is weird because it doesn't mean that you can't do that in HR, but I mean for me. So the first thing I wanted to do was to create this like a cafe. So I actually resigned to open a cafe, but a special kind of cafe, a wellness cafe. So somewhere that people will come to and they would literally just like, they'd be able to take the load off, they would just come and they would leave feeling like lighter. This was my dream. I was like, I'm going to serve you tea, everything. I'll be around, some smiles, some hugs if necessary. This was my dream, I tell you, at the time. And I left. So I resigned. Obviously, I had support because I couldn't until I had the adequate support. So my husband, we weren't married yet. And he was like, you can do this, just go, just leave, just do it. And so I did. And everyone asked me, because I used to work with the CEO's office. So they used to ask me, they're like, you're leaving to, what are you doing? A cafe? Come on, are you serious? You have promised all these things. And I was like, yes, I just really need to go. So I left, and the right thing, I would say the right thing to have done would have been to have it set up before I left, but I didn't. I left because I needed time to think and just like center myself. So when I started trying to put everything together, of course, I had a business plan. I had actually started the planning, but I mean, it hadn't materialized yet. So when I resigned and it was time for it to open, there was an issue with the space that we had secured. So I'm like, this is what I left for. I will not be able to open it. I was really like, oh my gosh, I was actually really devastated because I felt like I had failed kind of, like this is what I said I was leaving to do and I'm not doing it. So I'm like, okay, God, I don't know what I'm going to do now. What do you want me to do? This is me. Am I going to go back into HR? Am I going to go back into the corporate world? Because I didn't stop doing HR. Am I going to go back? And he's like, no, you're not going to go back. You just hold on. So I had a period of about, it was like 6 months. It felt like 3 years to me of waiting. And so I was like, okay, Lord, what do I do now? And now there was something I used to do for people. In the middle of the night, I would stay awake looking for hotels, looking for like that perfect hotel for somebody, like for free, for nothing, or that best experience to do. They'd be like, oh, mommy, where do you think I should go to? Or where do you think I should stay? And I'll be like, oh, just wait. And I'll stay online. I'll, get it done, make all the calls and everything. So around that 6 month mark, I I felt the Lord tell me, I know exactly what it is I want you to do. Now I need to backtrack a little bit. In that period, I was married. So we had a destination wedding, and I had the most amazing planner. But in the process of planning, I realized that there was a gap. And what was this gap? So the planner focuses on the event at the destination, but I needed a lot of help with the people getting to the destination, paying for their hotel, asking questions. They were asking me everything. I was tired. So I saw a gap. So I used to ask my friend, I'll tell her, please can, because the planner was happened to be my friend as well, my very good friend. So I ask her, I'm like, can you please help me do this? Can they pay to you? Can you pay to the hotel? And she was like, oh, mommy, this is really not what I do, but fine for you, I'll do it. So I realized that there was quite a gap there. There was actually there was something missing. So I'm like, okay, I just took note of it, by the way. It didn't mean much to me at the time. So this was December 2014, when I'm like, okay, Lord, now what? And he said, I know exactly what it is you're going to do. So remember when you were getting married and you felt like a strain with, the preparations, you're going to go and you're going to help other people. You're going to help brides. At the time, I thought it was just brides because that's as far as my eyes could see. But he was, he's like, you're going to help brides. I'm like, okay, because that was really stressful, right? Yeah. And I live to help, right? Okay. I was like, all right, okay, how am I going to do this? He's like, you're going to do this and you're going to do that and you're going to do this. I'm like, wait, Nigeria, who's going to patronize me? Nobody, nobody's going to patronize me. And he's like, you have to just try. So this is sorry, even though the story seems long, it is a modified version, by the way. So I took down a couple of things. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to start with planning honeymoons so that we start the process with you. So it's from before before the wedding, we start talking to you, because it's very stressful when you're planning a wedding. So like, we'll take it all off of you. And then if you're now going to have a destination wedding, we'll do it all, the whole travel part of it. And so that's how we started. And it was just me, my laptop, and here I am, calls. I'm the one picking the phone. I'm the one typing the email. I'm the one planning, literally doing everything. And I was just, started telling everyone, so I'm doing this, I can help you. I'm doing this, can I help you? That kind of thing. And that's how it started. So it started that way, and then we gradually morphed. So from me thinking it was just brides, remember at the time, it went into not just being brides, but being like more kind of more general. So I then had a child, and it was so stressful because traveling was very stressful with the baby. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no information on this. I'd search online, traveling with a baby. This is at the time there actually wasn't that much available. I'd see that there were some things that people abroad had written, but not from a Nigerian perspective. So I'm like, oh my goodness, you need to help the next woman that has a child that needs to travel. You just need to. So that was my next thing, literally. So then it became, okay, families, you need to get families traveling. Let them not think, because some people, when the child is younger than 5, they don't travel. So I actually started like on a mission to tell people, no, you can travel. This is where you can go. You can go here. They've got a kids club. These are, this airline is more favorable towards families with little kids. Emirates, for example, has like great like in-flight entertainment for the kids to color, things like that. And so I started trying to experience more as a person, and then also trying to share more. So we go from that, and the Lord starts telling me, literally, that's how it's been. Like, he's like, okay, now I want you to go into this. Now this is what I want you to do. So we kind of created a niche for ourselves with destination. I term it celebrations. Again, at first I thought it was destination weddings. It wasn't that. Then I thought it was, okay, destination birthdays. It wasn't just that. It's really all celebrations. So we kind of became like a go-to for that, and I loved it because it allowed me to connect with people. I'm not really that extrovert. Actually, I'm quite introverted, but the thought of being able to help another person actualize like a dream for me, it's the most fulfilling thing ever. So that allows me to come out of my shell a little bit. I'm able to talk, okay, let's walk through this. Let's figure it out. What's your budget? Just plan, and I just pour myself into it. And so that's how we grew in terms of destination celebrations, the bespoke travel. So really that is how it grew. And then COVID hit. And that was a bummer because that year was going to be a great year. We had like literally a celebration like almost every month. We're set for the year. And COVID hit. So I'm like, okay, wow, lost money. I'm like, wow, Lord, wow, 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 what to do here? And then he's like, okay, so you're going to go virtual. You're going to bring people together on a virtual platform, and you're going to do everything. Make it seamless for them. Just take care of them, love up on them, connect them with their people online, get food packages for them, send it all over the world. Literally, like this is how it came to me. And I used my husband's birthday to test it out. And I did. And from there, I got a partner for that. And we did it throughout like COVID, and it was great. Is this how people just do business, and you just start and you go? Honestly, when I even still look back at certain things, I'm like, this can't be me, because I'm just one quiet, I really can't connect it, I tell you, but I know that, this is really testimony to God. Like, I know it. So from there, just before COVID was done, I get approached by a body, and they're like, okay, we have this land, this building we're thinking of doing this with it. What would you like to do? And I'm like, oh, really? Like, this is what I would like to do. And then from there, Island Breeze is birthed. And mind you, this is just at the tail end of COVID. So no one's traveling. Virtual interactions, I would say, like parties, are kind of reducing a bit. I had to start looking at, okay, what was going to be next. And my husband and I, we've always had this dream of owning a resort. We have this dream. In fact, our dream has come to pass in Jesus' name. So so this for me was like, oh my goodness, is this an opportunity to, fine, I didn't have a building, but now this is a building, this is an opportunity to partner with people and, birth something here. And that's how Island Breeze came about. And it was bigger than me, definitely bigger than me, because I thought, it was different from what I thought my first establishment was going to be, but the Lord did it, to be honest with you, again. And so that from Island Breeze, then travel came back around and the retreats started, and that was very specific. I got very specific instructions with regards to the retreats and the well-being of like a lot of people. And so that's really been the journey. The HR bit of things has been in hospitality, because I know that there are lots of specific needs. Hospitality has a lot of quirks that don't quite apply to other industries. And so I've been able to provide guidance, in certain areas, in certain, situations as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty much it.
As an absolute fantastic. I'm seeing some people are popping. This is so good. It's a real wow, interesting story. I think there's so many things that you touched on. I'm going to just be taking the questions from there, and starting from the very beginning. You've spoken a bit about innovation in this conversation. You've spoken about failure, and we're going to delve into all these things. You've spoken about multitasking. Let me start the question from here. You started off, you left a well-paying bank job. People would have thought, her village people are pounding her destiny in a mortar, right? They're like, what is going on? What is this? How can you leave a well-paying bank job to go and start? What are you even starting, right? And then in the beginning, you are everything. You're the receptionist, you're the executive assistant, you're the visionary, you're the founder, you're the one that goes to check out all the places, you're everything. And then you just got married. And in the same period, shortly after, you're having a child as well. as an entrepreneur, how do you navigate this stage? How do you, as a woman, really, because a lot of the time in Africa, like we have women all across, well, not just all across Africa, all across the world here. And a lot of the time, we tend to take up a lot of the domestic side of things, right? So yeah, some people are have the 50-50 thing. Some people, their partners are more. Some people are doing it all by themselves. So if you think about it, looking at as an entrepreneur, having all that responsibility, balancing all the different aspects of your business, how were you able to navigate? What tips can you give about navigating that season and still maintaining a level of excellence in your business, right? Yeah.
Wow. I can say so much. I can say so much. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is that it wasn't easy and it is not easy. So I'm not going to paint a picture like it's a walk in the park, because it isn't. I think there's some people who are just like, oh, I just have it all figured out. And then there's some people who don't have it figured out at all. I think I'm definitely I'm probably on the other side of not having it figured out, to be honest. And one of the things that helps me the most first is God. First. And then second is the fact that I have a supportive husband, because the truth is, if he didn't egg me on and actually say, oh, mommy, you can do this. Oh, try. Okay, go ahead. If he didn't think it made sense, then it would be hard to actually pursue, because again, you leave a stable job where you know that something comes in every month to do something that you really don't know what's going to happen in that particular month. And when you work for yourself or you're a business owner, you're not taking first, you're taking last. Your responsibility is to the people that are in your care. If you have people in your care, your responsibility is to first the business. So there definitely needs to be an adequate support system, in place. So I wrote down a couple of things, and this was just, I really didn't know, where it would come up, but I wrote it because these are things that are very, like, it speaks to what you've said. So I'm just going to peep at it really quickly. So one of the things I wrote down was, don't be afraid. So it's easier to say don't be afraid. It's easier to say it than actual, but don't be. So because what I realized was that with each failure, there was victory. So now this doesn't mean that it's going to be like victory that looks like how victory should be in your mind. No, it could be a small win, but with each thing that seemed like it was too tough, like joy came in the morning, really. I don't mean grand, I mean small. So I started learning how to celebrate the little things, because the little things were definitely, they were evidence of some sort of progress. So we're talking about balance here, and in me thinking about this, I'm thinking that it's important to know that there's not so good, and there's also the great. So that's why I'm talking about that. I put here, don't be afraid to ask for help. Humility is very key. So a lot of times people think, oh, I need to be the one because it's my idea, or I'm a leader, I need to know it all. No, you don't need to know it all, actually. You just need to believe that you can. And then you need to know that you will be surrounded by people who will know it. Not even all, but who will know it. So use your resources. You will find people that know more than you in certain things, and you will learn from them and you will apply that. So that is something, right? I don't want to veer off. So we're talking, am I still here? The line just went
Yes,
back.
yes. Yes, you are. You're right. Yes.
Okay, great. So I don't want to veer off. So please let me know if I'm on track with you. And then I wrote, stay true to yourself. So sometimes you may think, you may get discouraged before you even start. And you may think that your idea doesn't really Like, is this really going to enter? Is this really going to make any sense? Is this really something I should sacrifice for? I really believe that if you know, like you are convicted, you have this burden to do something, I really believe that you will do it, and you will do it well. And you will do whatever it takes to make sure you do it well. So everything is going to be all right as long as you stay focused and you don't put too much on yourself. You don't think, oh, I have to be somebody else to achieve this. No, be who you are. Stay true to who you are, the idea that you have, whatever it is that has been given to you, that has dropped in your spirit. Stay true to that. And then even watch and see how that thing morphs, because I would be lying if I told you that when I started, I knew I was going to be here today. That would not be, it's not true. Yes, I may have had, nice ideas about, oh, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to, God use me to touch people, all this stuff. But the truth is, I didn't really know how. And even now, when I've seen 10 years from now, I'm still like, wow, how am I going to get there? Who? Is it me? But again, because I know that I'm here this many years after, I know that in 10 years, like, we'll reach there. Somehow we'll reach there, Balance. Am I still on track?
Yes,
Just
yes,
making
you are. Keep it coming. Yes.
Okay. So one of the other things it's kind of in line with what I just said, but transparency. So I really, really, really believe in transparency. It's one of the things that tried to hurt me when I started, because I realized that when you're doing bespoke travel, people didn't really understand fees. They want everything packaged. Just give me a package. Just tell me what's the figure, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. Actually, I need to tell you, this is my fee, and that's the actual cost of what I'm doing for you. And it was a struggle. And I'm not beating on anyone who does it differently, but that was my own instruction. So I chose to be transparent. So even when I don't know something, if someone asks me, oh, so I want to go to Baker Island. So the way I will have to tell you that I need to do some research for you to go to Baker's Island, because I don't actually know. I haven't been to Baker Island. So I took that pressure off of myself, that, what, again, in line with not having to know everything, in line with not having to appear like, oh, I'm just so, I just know it all. I found a way to make it clear that, these are the processes. This is what I need to do. I can assure you that it will be the best vacation ever, but this is what I'm going to need to do to get that done. So again, this speaks to balance for me. And this is because at first, I didn't used to think this way. At first, I used to think I had to know everything. At first, I used to think I had to be the best mom. At first, I used to think I had to be the perfect wife. At first, I just used to think differently. But over time, I realized that, no, it's really not about those things. It really isn't at all. It really is about just take it one day at a time. Be as open as you can be. Push as much as you can, be the best at whatever you do, but it's okay to not know everything as well. It's okay not to have everything like perfectly balancing, it's okay. Sometimes some things will suffer, true. Sometimes it won't. My husband had to tell me one rule we have is no laptops on the bed, because I used to fall asleep with the laptop on my bed, on my lap, and I'll be acting like I'm doing work, but I'm sleeping. I mean, he was very upset with me. So he said, no laptops on the bed, none. You're not doing any work on the bed. It's useless. You're going to sleep, like that. So sometimes we'd actually quarrel over it, like, this your work, But again, you just figure it out. You just take it one at a time, one step at a time. So I have other things written down, but I'm sure it'll come up in the course of our conversation. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, there were so many things. I was taking my own notes. I don't know about you guys, though. I said I'm here. I'm learning from each person for myself, not just, for you, my people. But I got a few things, and really, it was starting with the thing of humility and just allowing, just being humble in accepting help and asking for help and receiving help when it does come. I love the point on not being afraid, because a lot of times as women, we tend to hold ourselves back with perceived fear, whether it's real or imaginary. We just pull ourselves back of, fear of what do people say, fear of what if I fail, fear of what if it's successful, but not as fear of what if I don't know. All the fears, most of it living in our heads, we tend to hold ourselves back. So I really love that point of not being afraid. I love the point of staying true to yourself and just being focused. And this is something that has been coming across the days, right? Just staying true to ourselves and staying focused. And then this thing of transparency and taking the pressure off of us. Like, we don't need to have the answers to all the problems of the world. We can take a minute to research, we can take some time to find out what's going on. We can take some time, just like, I don't know, I will get there, but in this moment, I don't really know. So I love that. Thanks for sharing, Among. And just because you're speaking about, where you're in Africa, you're running a business in Africa, and I know I have women all across the world, but for those women who are in Africa, there is the thing of Africa is predominantly a patriarchal society. We know this, yes? And, look at you. You look like a nice, fresh, young baby girl, not a day over like 22. I know you're older, but it doesn't show in your face, right? How do you, and there's a thing of trying to lead either people who are older, because again, on the African continent, there's a thing of respect, isn't it? We're very heavy on respect by age, not necessarily because you deserve the respect. So there's the respect of age. So you're leading people that are older, number one. You're leading men. And again, on the African continent, there's a strong thing of respect because your gender is male. So it doesn't matter. I'm a man, because I'm a man, just take it like that. And as a female entrepreneur, as a woman who's been in this space since 2014, thereabouts, going on this journey, how have you navigated not just leading these people, but also getting their respect, getting their buy-in to all the different things that you want to do, not just in New Safari hospitality, but also in Island Breeze, where you have all of these, guys and women and everybody who you're leading as well. How do you navigate that as a female leader?
That's a fabulous question. Honestly, it's not easy. It is not. But I would say resilience, the ability to continue. That is, no matter what, you're like, I must reach, I must get there, I must go. It is super important. I had days, I still remember 2 years ago, I was in my car, I was weeping, actually, like crying. And my assistant was with me, my assistant at the time. And I'm sure she was like, Miss Omom is crying like this. I'm sure she was honestly like in shock. But you know what? After I cried, I felt a lot better. But I didn't just feel better because I cried. She prayed with me, which was amazing. I bless her for that because she was the support I needed at the time. And then after that, I came out of my car, I wiped my tears, and then I walked into the meeting with a whole bunch of guys. And I said my piece. So because I had gotten the weight of my emotion out, I rechanneled it to getting the points across that needed to be gotten across, because obviously it was a tough situation. That's why I was crying, right? So I just needed to redirect my energy a bit so that what it is that needed to be gotten across was going to be gotten across. And because I had cried already, I wasn't going to do that in that room with those guys. That's one. Two, so it's almost in line with it. I literally put my big girl panties on, and I had no choice. There are actually times that I've had really difficult situations. I'm like, I can't go on. And the Lord gives me strength. But it's not just the Lord, it's also my support system. Because again, there are times that you're like, I actually can't go on, but then you have that person who is cheering you on, who's like, no, you can. Oh, mommy, you can do this. Okay, this. Okay, what do you need? You have them. It's one bestie, two, three, like literally, just like you can go on. Sometimes my husband would like tell me, you need to get it together. He's only you scold me, but his scolding can just make me vex. And I'll just be like, because you're scolding me, I'm just going to vex and go and do this thing and show you that you should not have scolded me. I mean, whatever. Hey, what I'm trying to say is it makes me it allows me to literally put my big girl underwear on and go and face it. So that definitely. I put stick to your guns. Like while you were talking, stick to your guns. See, when you feel something and you know something, nobody can take it away from you. Nobody. So yes, again, you may not know everything, but the one that you do know, you run with it. So in an environment where for us it was tough when we started Island Breeze, I had someone who was working with me and she was also my friend. It was amazing. We were two females on the beach. No other female run beach club on the beach. And I know they did not like us. They did not. Because what are you ladies doing in this business? What do you think you know about drinks? I didn't know anything about drinks, but she did. So again, I wasn't trying to um it wasn't about what I knew. It was about the fact that I was able to also, so I've kind of gone into another point, but my next point was gonna be leverage on your relationships. So not just with men, but with also with the women, like with the people around you, people who know it, who can balance, you, who can help you, who can teach you, leverage on them. So I'll put the women aside a little bit, but I'll say the men. So even though, yes, I'm in this business and when I started, my husband wasn't around. So it was me and the other lady. Even though, yes, we were the only women on the beach, I didn't hesitate to ask questions. I will ask the men around. Try to make them my buddies so that by the time we're buddies, and I mean, please, I have a husband. I mean, like, we're not going that way, but let's be buddies. What do you know? Can you teach me? Okay, can we do this? I was trying to learn from them. It was not that easy. She really helped out a lot with that because she was she'd kind of worked in that industry a little bit, so it was more familiar to her, but we were still both learning, but it was more familiar. So we did try to leverage on the men that we knew. I'd ask my husband several times, I'm like, this is what is happening, what do you think? I didn't, because I realized I also needed to not just be thinking like a woman, but I needed to think like a man, so that they would so that I could kind of hit them in the way that I needed to hit them. I don't know if that makes sense, but so I leveraged on that. So back to sticking to my guns. So again, on things that I was like resolute on, I did not stand back or stand down. But I also always asked God, and I literally was like, help me if there's something I'm not seeing in a way I should. I don't want anyone to say, oh, those emotional women, don't just tag, don't just label me like that. So I'm like, if there's actually something you want me to see in a different way, and maybe I'm not being reasonable or I'm being emotional, all these things that they like to say, if that's the way I'm being, show me so that I can actually learn what I need to learn and so that we can actually move forward. So, yeah. Now, another thing I did in terms of leveraging, although it came back to bite me a little bit, but was I had a male assistant. So the male assistant at the lounge I'd see literally, let me give you an example. People are sitting around. I'm like, oh, let me do, the caring thing and go around and see how they're doing, ensure our service is tip top, everyone's happy. And they'll just be looking at me like, excuse me, why are you disturbing us? Are you drinking with us? No. Are you smoking with us? No. So why are you disturbing us? So I used to feel so like, oh my gosh, like they don't care if I'm checking on them or not. I need to go back and sit in my office. But the guy, he will go there and they're like, how fun, how guy, how you doing? And, they will just be rapping. So I was like, okay, male assistant, this is what you're going to do. You're going to be the one to go around and say hi to the guys and everything. And honestly, it was working. They liked it. They wanted to see the guys. So I gave them the guys. And I try to not let it affect me, because at the end of the day, it's not about me actually going round. It's really just about us being able to maintain an excellent standard. So if we can do that and it requires partnership, then fine, we will. Like, let's do that. You do this part, I will do this part. So that worked. And then stay on point. So another thing is, now, again, you don't have to know everything, I repeat. However, the things that you are going to do them exceedingly well. Do it well. Do it so well that they will not be able to be pointing fingers at the things, because it's one thing for people to look at you like, oh, you are young, oh, you're a woman. It's another thing for them to say, you are young, you're a woman, and you have no clue and you're doing a crappy job. It's another thing for them to say, you're young, you're a woman, I don't know how you do it, but you're doing it. Do you get what I mean? You're doing it and
Yeah.
you're doing a good job. So hey, you don't seem like the right fit, but you're
You're doing
okay.
it.
You know what I mean? So you get it done and you find a way to get it done. Um, yeah, so that's it. And about the age thing, I actually had a challenge with that. With one of the people that worked with me. She was older than me. And so because of that, she found it really hard to see me as her boss. And I really, really, really needed to tap into supernatural wisdom, because that is what needed, because I needed her expertise, but I was also trying to be open with her. Like, okay, so this is what I'm carrying. This is what I know. I'm really open to what you know. But the truth is, at the end of the day, fine, we worked for some time, but at the end of the day, I think she really just didn't want to work with me. And I prayed and she prayed and the Lord separated us and we're all fine. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. And never compromise on your morals, no matter what. So even if you're in an environment where the guys are expecting you to smoke weed with them, but you don't smoke weed, you don't need to smoke weed with them for them to respect you or see you. No, you don't. I mean, this is for me. Everybody has it differently, but for me, no, it's a no. You don't need to do anything that will compromise you, because you need to get ahead or because you need to fit in or you want to be respected. I really just believe that the work will speak for itself. So yeah, that's it.
Oh gosh, I love it. I mean, there were a few, not a few. I took more than a few notes on my thing. I mean, we have spoken about resilience. I started seeing that showing up in the comment section, and just really, really just digging our heels in. Right? You cry when you need to cry. Wipe your tears. Blow your nose. Fix your makeup if you must. Don't fix it if you don't want to, and just walk in and get the things done. So I love that point on resilience. Just getting the weight of the emotions out and redirecting your energy. That was such a powerful point. I love how you said, realize sometimes that there's no choice. You don't have a choice sometimes to be weak. You don't have a choice sometimes to throw in the towel. Just pull up your big girl panties and get the things done, right? Or your big girl drawers, your big
Yes.
girl, whatever. Okay. And then support system. This one has been coming through over and over again as you've been speaking on me. And remember, yesterday we are talking about building your tribe, ladies. So I think this is so critical. Now begin to build this support system. If you're around on Saturday, that's going to be amazing because you can see people and touch them physically. But really build your support system. Be friendly, connect with people, be authentic. I think this is just such a critical one. Two things that I love. It's like two in one. Sticking to your guns, sticking to the way, and I really like how you said this, especially in terms of excellence, right? You have your own standards for your organization, you have the levels of excellence that you want to run. To stick to your guns, not to lower the standards just because it seems like you're being a little bit difficult, or because it seems like, oh, these guys don't understand me, or maybe my own is too much. Your own is not too much. That's the standard of what you want. So stick to your guns in that case. Leverage your relationships. I love it. I love this point of think like a man. Someone puts in the comment section, act like a woman. I love it. And I'm going to delve into that a bit more in a second. staying on point, the things that you do, really do it well. It's okay to be called a woman. I mean, you're a woman, so it's fantastic. Call me a woman, call me a girl, call me, young. Those are adjectives that I will willingly accept, but you can't call me incompetent,
Right.
right? So as you are calling the things that we are, let us complete it. Let it be that you are excellent at what we do, or we have a learning mindset, or we're constantly growing and evolving. I love it. That was such a pivotal point. And then this last one, I think, especially now, is really, really critical to emphasize. Never compromise on your morals. Don't become somebody else just to get ahead. Don't let your value shouldn't be these shifting things that change and move when the sun comes up. You're like, okay, which one of my values am I going to let go of today? If you're in certain rooms, you're like, oh, which one of my values am I going to? No, your values are your things that are, sort of like immovable in you. They're the things that make you you. And just not compromising on that just to get ahead, or just to be liked, or just to become more famous or more influential. And we see that in our social media world nowadays. I think those were such critical things to mention. Thank you for highlighting that. I want us to pivot a little on Mommy and to talk a bit about failure. Now, I don't know if you remember. Well, I remember we're sitting at Island Breeze. Was it last year as well, right? And you were telling me this fascinating story that had my mouth dropping, and I was like, my goodness, And I don't expect you to say the whole story here. This is why you should have your friends. Go and buy her a meal at Island Breeze. Anyway, so you told me this story that comprised of betrayal from people that you trusted, had this whole thing almost falling to bits and pieces. But from those seeming ashes, right, you pivoted, you rose, you evolved, you started building stronger. So I want us to speak a bit about failure and pivoting in our journey of entrepreneurship, because that happens sometimes. How do we get the strength to deal with betrayal when it happens? How can we navigate the valleys of failure? How can we not die even when it seems like everything is crashing? And how do we get that? How do we begin to build again without feeling ashamed, or feeling like sometimes when something we're doing fails, it's like we have failed. It's like there's something personal about us that couldn't get it right. Talk to us.
So all these things that you said, I felt them. So I can't even paint a picture like I didn't feel it, because I did. I felt ashamed. I felt broken. I felt shattered. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I should have seen differently. I felt like I should have known, Mommy, God speaks to you. How could you know? All these things. I feel like the signs were there. How come you didn't see everything? I felt it. I did. I felt it. And the people around me knew I felt it too. So I'm trying to think of a way to say that I don't know if I can tell someone that they won't feel it, because they may feel it. But I do know that I can say that you will get up again. Like, the only thing I can say is that when you fall, you have to stand up again. So how are you going to stand up again? I think that's it, because it's hard. The process of getting up is really hard. It's kind of like, how especially as one gets older, sometimes if kids, you can fall down and then you just like spring up, but as you get older, it's kind of like, can I spring? I can't quite spring, but I can use my hands to support me. I can, I can kneel, then stand up first. I can stretch my way up. So I think it's really about the standing part. So what are the things that helped me to stand? One was this same support system. Really helped me to stand. At some point, I actually wanted to run away, and I did. And what did running away look like? I couldn't handle all of it at once. But before I ran away, I'll tell you what happened. So, without going into the story too much, yes, I was stolen, not I, the business was stolen from. Yes, this male assistant, remember the male assistant I spoke about? He connived with pretty much all the staff to be running a parallel business within the premises of the business. The truth is, these kind of things, it's not by sight that they're revealed. So the fact that it was revealed was one way for me to know that it was the Lord had a plan. So even though it at the time when everything started unfolding, my eyes were like, wait, what? Wait, wait, what? Wait, what? But when you know that it's not about what you do, it's actually not about you being there every day. It's not about you watching like a hawk. It's not. And that was a shocker for me because prior to then, the model that we ran was we were making sure it was covered. You're watching, you're this, but it wasn't actually, that didn't save the day. So that was big because I'm like, so you mean the way I thought it was supposed to be is not the way, is not what was going to save the day? I don't know this thing, but the Lord showed me that it wasn't about what I thought I knew. At the end of the day, it really is about giving the business to Him. And He's actually the one that watches over it and gives you systems and processes to protect the business. So, how did I get up? The first place was I cried. And then I reached out to the people around me to express how I was feeling, and they prayed for me because I needed it. And then I started to look at what the problem was. What were the things, what were the gaps that allowed these things to happen? What did I not see? What did we not see? What was it that, what in our process and our systems allowed such to happen? Now, I know I said this before, but I had to face it regardless. So the person that was working with me, she resigned. Before she resigned, though, I remember this was just before Independence Day in October. We literally were down to no staff. We had no staff. I mean, we're running a hospitality business, restaurants, where your cream is in those periods, public holidays and busy periods, and we did not have any staff. So what did we do? First of all, I'm like, okay, Lord, this is where HR comes in and Jesus and all of that. What are we going to do? We need to hire ad hoc staff. We need to, how many do we need? What do we need to do? What exactly? How are we going to crisis control right now? What are we going to do? So before I really had so much time for it to penetrate my system, that is the failure, the so-called failure that I thought it was, I moved into crisis control. And so when October 1st came, we were five in a place that has a seating capacity of 140 people sitting down and capacity of 300 people standing up. We were five, normally operating on a minimum of 20 people. It was crazy. It actually seemed crazy, but the only thing that I had in my mind was we cannot fail. We must be there. We will serve. We will do what we can, and God will do the rest. So guess what? The person who was working with me at the time, she was behind the bar. I was serving, taking orders. We were doing everything. We limited our menu. We said, okay, so we can't serve this, but we can serve this. I know how to make a Long Island iced tea. I know how to make this, so I'm going to do that. So literally we just quickly adaptability. Maybe you can pick, maybe that's what I can see. We quickly had to adapt to be able to, I want to say, effect an effective crisis control or implement an effective crisis control strategy, because that's literally what we had to do. So that is another thing. So yes, so after that, I said I cried. I said people prayed. I said I asked for help. So on that day too that we were 5, I asked for help. I said, "Oh, please." In fact, we were having 2 events on that October 1st. The restaurant was open and there was a concert. And we needed to serve drinks at the concert because, again, I couldn't afford for our partners, this big institution, to see a dip in our numbers based on anything that could point back at me at incompetence. Because remember, I'm young and I'm a female and I'm in that business. So I really couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford. So I'm like, how are we going to do this? So I had to ask friends. So I had 2 of my husband's friends came on. We were selling drinks at the concert, and they were the ones who were there. So I was shuffling between the restaurant and the concert. It would have seemed like an impossible thing, like, look at what has happened to you guys. And everybody knew, Island Breeze, all the staff, that woman, those ladies, everybody knew. But we held it down. I still don't know how, but this is how. 5 people, and we held it down. And the day was over, and we're like, wow. But from there, we went into proper planning. So like I mentioned before, looking into the holes. We didn't have the luxury of being able to close. So we had to figure out what went wrong, start trying to implement ways to close those gaps, switching up the processes. So from the way the process was before, what are we going to do now? Got help from other people in the business. One other person had told me, this is what almost happened to me. This is what I did. Talk to this person, talk to that person. Looked into professionals that had experienced such, that had kind of consulted for businesses that had experienced this. So while from one part, like the HR part, I wasn't too confused. I just needed the resources to get the people in, the staff in. But from some other parts, I was clueless. I needed to ensure that our technology was on point, because technology actually helps you in situations like this where there's like some sort of gap, So me saying technology, I'm trying to say that you need to look into your resources, see what is available to be able to assist you to get through that particular situation, because there will be things available. You may not be the first, you may not be the last, you may be the first, but that doesn't mean that there's not a solution that can help with that particular situation. And I think really off the top of my head, that's what I can say. There's so many things that are, kind of in my head, but those were really the things that got me through. Resources, adaptability, crisis, like going into strategic planning, your support system, and being vulnerable, not thinking that, you can handle on your own. Prayer, I put that first, because without that, I couldn't do nothing, excuse me. And allow yourself to cry, feel it, you're gonna feel it. But when you feel it, you're gonna get up. And even if you're getting up, trying to use your hands, to hold yourself up, you're gonna get up. So one of the things I wrote that, can't find where I wrote it, but I was talking about strive pretty much. I was saying that, let me see if I can find it. I said strive births character. So, and I'm not saying that everyone must suffer, but I'm saying that, again, perspective is everything. Redirect that pain, redirect that failure, redirect it, because it will birth character inside of you in a way that you would have never imagined. I'm definitely soft, but the truth is I'm a lot tougher than I was years ago, like a lot tougher. When I even see myself sometimes, I'm like, who is this person? And I'm like, okay, I understand. God has actually like molded me in different ways. So yeah, I really believe that strive births character. And then I wrote that leadership tests all knowledge and all boundaries. So again, you don't have to know everything, but you have to understand that it will test you. Everything you know will test you. Everything you know or you think you know will test you. But you just got to keep going. You just have to. There's just no other way. So
Oh, I love it. I love it. Again, I have my own list of all sorts of things that I had on here just around navigating failure. And I think this is, I'm not going to repeat everything because my person has started hinting me and I've ignored her as I ignored her yesterday. But she started hinting me like, Lady Budam, hello, hello. So I'm going to try and be good. One last thing I think I'm going to ask, or two last questions. And if anybody has a question in the comment section, let me know. And I will see if I can take one or two questions before we wrap up today. But among your personal faith, right? You've been talking, and it's been coming through very strongly. Prayer is a big thing for you. You just have that relationship, right? So faith is an important thing for you. And if I'm wrong, you can tell me that no, it's not. It's not important to me. You're wrong.
Yes.
But anyway, so I think my question is now on the African continent, not just on the African continent, across the world, running a business, there are a number of things that come up that can tend to contradict or oppose faith, right? If I use Nigeria as a particular case study, and I use Nigeria because I live in Nigeria and I do business here as well. Getting a permit is not as easy as ABC, right? There's the official way. Let me not even go far. Getting a passport in my nation, there is the official way of you fill the form and then you wait to get your passport, and it could take you 1 year. But some people can also get a passport in a week. And I'm just like, so how do you navigate it? Happens with permits, it happens with taxes, it happens with every single thing that we need sometimes in running a business. And if you are, if you have this faith system where some things you say, no, I don't want to do this, how have you navigated business on this continent without closing down, without going against, you said, not compromising on your morals or your values or your belief systems?
So I think your conviction is everything. I know that we can say, oh, if you're giving money to someone on the street, that's definitely bribe. And I agree. But the truth is, there are actually some situations that arise where you may feel nothing. You may feel that, I don't mean bribing. I mean, like, it may seem like a situation to another person that's like, did you do that? It may seem, right? And it may not seem. I have conversations all the time where I'm like, but that's not right. And the person is like, what do you mean it's not right? That is our system now. This is how things go. So I choose to say that your conviction is everything. If you feel even a slight bit that what you're engaging in is not the way to go about it, then do not do it. Don't. But if you don't feel that thing, and let's just even say, and I'll give an example, this passport thing that you're talking about, let us say that I want to get a passport, and it's not a case of, oh, I'm bribing anybody. It's a case of, okay, we can do you executive passport, something, but you will pay 200 for this executive passport. Let's just say, right? Now, let's say I happen to know somebody, and I happen to know some senior person, and that senior person introduces me to someone and says, come, I don't want anything. Well, they may never say that ahead of time. Just come, I'll assist you. And you pay the normal fee for your passport. You get it in 1 day. And you're like, how much do you want me to pay? You say, no, don't want you to pay me anything. What is that? That's favor. I got favor. God opened doors. He literally was like, you know what? I know who can help you. Go to this person. I didn't have to pay 500K to someone's pocket, or you know what I mean? I didn't have to. And I use that as an example to say that there's so many situations I feel that have come up from permits. We've had people shutting us down. We're not paying our taxes, even though we were paying it, but they wanted us to pay them money. What did we do? We stood our grounds. We went and brought out all the evidence. So this thing about, so I said conviction, right? The second thing I say is get your act together. Do not leave room for people to come and give you issues so that you now have to emerge in an emergency, urgent kind of situation do something to just get everything right. So you have a business idea that you've had for a while, or you want to partner with some people, but your books are not in order. And the thing, the time comes and they say, oh, come. And then you have like 1 week to get everything in order. So the first thing you want to do is, who can help me with this thing? Not in a legal way. I just pay to just get everything, certify me ready so that I'm ready, so that I'm able to get this deal. Okay, you are saying, oh, God brought this deal. But when you were supposed to be preparing, you did not prepare. You were not ready. And guess what? I'm not saying it like I have everything correct. So please don't even, I don't want anyone listening to think it means that I think, oh, everything is always ready. No, but guess what? If I'm speaking, the Lord is even reminding me of something that you said prepare, you said be ready. Go and get your books in order. If He has given you that insight, even if He has not given you, and you know your books are not in order, your taxes are not in order, go and do it before it becomes a problem. Because when it's a problem, then you'll be looking for the way out. So I think that's very big, because when they came to shut us down because we hadn't paid a particular tax, we were able to prove to them that we had done what we needed to do. We didn't have to pay anybody for that. We then had another situation where, yeah, sure, this is live stream. So we then had another situation, and there was something that we should have done differently. And no, we still, again, people are like, no, just do this, it will go away. Just do this, it will go away. But thank God, I'm not really that much of a fighter like that. But my husband, if there's one thing he puts his mind to, oh my goodness, he will get it done. And so he was able to communicate with them, in the book, this is what it says. Because, all these things, they have fines, but they also have, like, you can get a warning. So it's not everything that results in just pay somebody. You can actually find a way to resolve these things. Do you get? So once he was able to prove to them that the way about it was not just to pay so that they would go, after they left us and gave us a warning and said they were going to come back, we're like, oh yeah, everything you need, go and get it now. Do you know what I mean? So that, because by the time they come back, we'll not be able to say anything again. What will we say? We may have to succumb, and we don't want to have to do that. So yeah, I mean, I hope I've answered, but these are just a few things I can say to that. I really think your conviction is everything. I really don't believe in lowering or changing your stance. And in the travel business, I had one client that I knew was, I found out, and I can be disagreed with, but that's okay. I found out was purposely, intentionally spiking brownies to drug women. And the moment I found out, I dropped him as a client. No, you can't. Nope. Like that's doesn't mean that I'm not light and I wasn't sent to you. No, I can't be sent to you, but in my business, so I'm not going to support that kind of behavior. But if I see you, I'm gonna talk to you. And if the only way for me to reach you, to be honest, if the only way for me to get across to you is by providing you a service, then if that's what gives me access to you, if that is it, then I will do it. But then my conviction was so strong that I needed to drop him as a client. And it wasn't that it was fake news. It was real news, because it was someone who was very dear to me. So I had to. Again, so that I can actually give many examples across businesses of situations where I had to just say, Lord, what are you saying? What am I feeling? And I needed to go with that.
Oh gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Ladies, I don't know how you're feeling. I have I'm here with my little thing, and I write very small, and I can show you my scribbles you can't see, but I'm writing really tiny and drawing lines so I can write on both sides of the thing instead of just grabbing another one, right? But anyway, that's by the by, so that I can take as many notes as possible. But thank you. Mommy, thank you. This has been extremely helpful. And ladies, let me know how you're feeling in the comment section. I'm going to ask you one last question. I know I said one last question ago. But the very final question I'm going to ask you is, someone had mentioned earlier on, you said, you had to learn how to think like a man. And that's going to be my final question to you, because in our time, in our generation, we're told how, a lot of the time, we're told how as women, especially women who want to be taken seriously, we need to lean more into our masculine energy. We need to showcase ourselves more as men. We need to deepen our voice. We need to, be more brusque and harder and all of this type of stuff, right? And I like how you said you had to think like a man. And I think my final question to you will be, as a woman in entrepreneurship, as a female leader, how are you navigating this thing of thinking like a man while retaining your femininity and remaining true to who you are as a woman, just being in your core and enjoying your all the characteristics of you being a woman, while taking the things that you need to take and leaning into your masculine energy and thinking like a man when you have to be? How do you navigate that without leaning too much to one side?
I think I navigate that by staying true to myself, by being authentic, honestly. Because I'm not trying to be a man. I'm not trying to be somebody else. I'm only trying to take what I need to take from there and learn what I need to learn from there. And then use it to push myself forward, use it to take down any kind of barriers, use it to push boundaries, use it to make me and whatever it is that I'm doing or whatever it is that God has put in my hand better. So I think that's it. You know what I mean? Because if you're trying to be, if you try too hard, you will tilt the scale. You may find that you're losing yourself. You may find that you are becoming in a way that you didn't plan. And let me tell you, I have had times where I felt, mommy, what's going on? You're not tapping into the you that I know. Imagine me or mommy telling myself, you're not tapping into the you that I know. And this is this thing about me saying, I've gotten tougher. And the truth is sometimes trauma does that. And you have to be able to identify which one is not the good in this and remove it quickly. So where you may have a guy who is more like stern, more aggressive. No, not stern, because you can be stern, but maybe more aggressive, even in voice and even in, Oga walks in. It still happens to me till today. Whenever we enter through the vendor's entrance into the beach, if I'm with my husband, oh God, good afternoon, sir, good afternoon. They've been seeing me since 2020. Oh. Good afternoon, Oga, good afternoon. I'll walk. Nothing is worth me. I'm telling you. I'm like, oh, wow, you didn't see me, right? Okay. Good afternoon. Oh, good afternoon. Do you know, I'm the one trying to get their attention. So it's something that it's glaring. Let me put it like that. It stares at me in the face like constantly, but I've had to say that I'm not going to change who I am. I'm going to take what I can take. So if there's a situation that is not as big as I'm making it seem, because for me, I'm like, how can they do that? And when I'm thinking, how would a guy respond to that? He's like, this is no biggie. It's not a big deal. I kind of try to mellow down, like, okay, drink cold water. Mommy, wait, drink cold water first. Is this situation as bad as you're saying it is? Is there another way to look at it? So again, I try to stay as true to myself as I can be. And I take what I need to take, learn what I need to learn, and make that adjustment that I need to make to see that it's just not my perspective that counts. There's another way I may not be seeing it. And see how to deal with it in that way. Do you know what I mean? So there's some things that I think a guy will see and he's not going to think it's anything. And me, I'll be like, Again, I've started learning that think in a slightly different way, but I don't, nothing, I'm very intentional about not losing any part of me, any part of my femininity, any part of me, the things that make me me. So yeah, again, and you remember I said about redirecting. So whether it's pain, you redirect it, whether it's emotion, you redirect it, whatever it is that you feel is that, I don't know. I don't even know if this is just about being a woman. Whatever it is that you feel you need to change, that you could kind of think differently in a way, just redirect, think of a different perspective, change your perspective, change your perspective. So yeah, that's it. And I hope that helps. But I would say that that's how it is for me, really. So, yeah.
Oh, this has been delightful, and we're going to start seeing some of the comments coming up shortly. But let me just say thank you, mommy. Thank you for, it's always a beautiful thing when you see women who are leading across different spheres and who are just sitting into yourself, right? I love what Lami says here when she said, you spoke to her spirit, and you just have such a healthy relationship with God that she admires dearly. And I think that comes through so strongly, right? Your heart comes through with all the things that you're saying. I like what Sefa is saying. She's like, today's session is alive, subtle, sensitive, and powerful. She feels seen. And Omome, I think that's such a gift that you have. You actually have a gift to make people feel seen. That's one of the first things I noticed about you when I first met you, right? So she's saying her feelings and convictions are valid. Her faith is important, and all of that. Kende is saying it's been so insightful in every sense, and she's saying a big thank you. Beret is saying she loves the last point because she's had to deal with a similar scenario at work, right? And yeah, I mean, I just love it. I love to see how you are and how you've settled in. And if I can even say how you have grown from when I first met you up until now, yeah, which is amazing in itself. And it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So thank you for spending your evening with us. Thank you for pouring out. Thank you for sharing your experiences. Thank you for giving me a whole A4 sheet full of notes that I'm going to take into action. Thank you for just your heart and bringing the very essence of who it is that you are to the community today. I truly appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
So much. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Ladies, as usual, we're going to do our one thing. What's your one action point from all the things Omomi has shared today? Remember, we said we're leaning towards action bias. So tell me your one action point that you're going to take from everything today, right? Is it around not being afraid? Is it about rediscovering your convictions and staying true to yourself? Is it about transparency and allowing yourself to be vulnerable with the people? And me, that I'm saying it, I'm already feeling like pinches because I struggle with vulnerability sometimes, right? So is that what it is? Is it about building resilience? Is it about getting the weight of our emotions or learning how to redirect your emotions when it comes, right? Is it about leveraging your relationships and truly building your tribe? Is it about learning not to compromise on your morals? I love it. Margaret says hers is becoming authentic. Titilayo, I can't, okay. Oluwatomisin says holding on to prayers as the bedrock of everything, right? Titilayo says, it's been a deep, challenging, inspiring, and refreshing session. God bless you, and thank you so much. You're welcome. Right, so let me know what your one thing is. Is it adaptability and flexibility? That's a big one for me as well. Oluremi says, somebody like her that feels entrepreneurship doesn't appeal to her, listening to you is making her scan her brain for a business idea she can venture into. You struck a chord in her. That is powerful. Sefa says she'll remain true and leverage her relationships. I love it. Sarah says she's going to stay true to herself and hold on to her values, her belief systems, and her morals. Ojo Anuoluwapo says she dares to challenge herself and learns to build her career with the right mind and to lean on God. I love it. Rebecca said she's learning not to compromise on her standard. That's a big deal. Let me know what are your one things that you said. Is it learning to ask for help, This is a big thing as women. Me, I'm learning to ask for help. I'm learning, oh, and that was something, I don't think we have enough time to do it today. So we're going to do it tomorrow. There's something about asking I wanted us to get into today, but we're going to get into tomorrow. Ojola says leveraging on her relationships. Blessing says to learn how to start thinking like a man, because your woman hormones are just so much 100%. And just speaking to that, Blessing, you know, everybody has masculine energies and feminine energy. And usually when you're a woman, you want to lean into and harness your feminine energy. But there's such a thing as wounded feminine, because we all need both energies so that we're balanced. Anybody that's 100% feminine energy or 100% masculine energy now leans into toxicity. So that's such a powerful point that you brought out here, Blessing, because all of us should learn how to balance. There are situations where we need to lean a little bit into our masculine, because that's the analytical energy. It's the planning energy, is the one that makes us go from A to B. It's a logical type of energy. And our feminine energy is our being energy. It's what allows us to feel and to be calm and to be creative and to be intuitive and all these other types of things that we have naturally as women. So that balance is absolutely essential. Oyin Damola says she dares herself to put God first, to trust in him, and to push through in achieving a career for herself. I love it. Who else? Lami says, be deliberate not to lose any part of you in the process. Do not compromise on our morals. Itunu says consistency and keep going. Ivan says being vulnerable, getting a strong support system, and always believing in your project. So powerful. Olushola says, I need to accept that it's okay not to know everything, but I should believe that I can, and I should ask for help. I love it. Beret says, learning to ask for help and refusing to compromise on her morals. Of course, this implies that I'll need to get my beret. You need to complete that thought. Don't leave me hanging. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. I mean, this has been an absolutely beautiful evening. Thank you so much, Omomi, for spending your time with us, for saying yes. She had actually messaged me, let me tell you, she had messaged me to ask me a completely different, a question on, as I was planning for this, right? She had messaged to ask me a question. I said, why don't, this question you've asked, I think you're the solution to it. Why don't you come on and do this with me? And she's like, let's go. Audacious May and yes, June, I think is what she said. And she's like, let's do it, which I really love. Abisola says strategic planning, evaluating, putting structure in place. That's a big one. And getting books to address needs that could arise and are imminent. Oluwatomisin says there's a calmness in the atmosphere. Yes. Omomi, you need to meet Omomi in real life. Right? You guys, honestly, you need to thank me. Look at the people I'm bringing to you. Yeah, I know I've brought it back to myself now. I don't care. Look at the kind of quality women that I'm bringing to you. And we still have even more quality women that are coming. But you need to meet Omomi in person. She permeates peace. So when I was seeing somebody earlier on saying that they want to be known for, bringing peace, I'm like, you need to meet Omomi because she brings that peace into the atmosphere. Okay, fantastic. We're wrapping up today. I think I have just a couple of announcements and we're good to go. I cannot remember the announcements, so if they can come up one after the other, that would be fantastic, and I will just say them. So announcements coming up, and then we start wrapping up. Yes, I mentioned this yesterday. 3 of our partners have given us different things for a raffle that's going to come up on Saturday. So you received the link in your email today, and it's going to come again to you tomorrow, and it might come again to you on Saturday morning. I'm not promising Saturday morning, but you're going to get it again tomorrow. Please fill out the link in the email with your details, and that is what enters you into the raffle. Thank you, Vision Uplift. Thank you, Black Biz, and thank you, Ars Maria, for your wonderful donations towards our raffle. I've said I'm going to enter into the draw. My team is saying no. I'm going to use veto power, so better fill in your details first. Okay. Olushola didn't receive the link in your email. Please, the team will confirm and we will come back to you. If you didn't receive the link, apologies. You will get it tomorrow in the reminder email that comes through. So the email that gave you the link for today, it was in that email, but if you did not receive it, you will get it again tomorrow. We have a special headshot offer. We have partnered with Omide Studios, and he's offering all attendees at the physical summit I'd said 3 headshots, but a member of my team messaged me yesterday to say he was actually giving us 4 headshots for the giveaway price of 10,000 naira. I'm going to take like 7 headshots. I'm coming with a change of clothes, like 4 changes of clothes. So I can take like 4 headshots of each. Like what? So this is it. Again, the link to this is coming in your email, or it should already be in your email. Fill it in so that you can pre-book and just rush him. Rush him. An offer like this, you will not get it tomorrow, and you will never get it anywhere else. Just at the Refined Ladies Summit 2023. Fantastic. Okay, I think I have 2 more announcements to go. Oh yes, special thank you to all our sponsors and partners. I'm still asking for more partners and sponsors to come on board, but I want to really thank Ars Maria. I want to thank Vision Uplift. I want to thank Black Biz. I want to thank Orekelewa Organics. I want to thank Robin Heights, Omide Studios, The Rich Drinks Served, the Lady Beleza, Q Candles by Coin, Meals Delight, Immerse, 4N. Who am I missing out now? I can't. Almond Streets, of course, the Refined Lady, definitely. Thank you. They have partnered either by giving us donations to make this happen. They've partnered with items. They've given us, some of them have given us discounts that are just blowing my mind. And this is just a tip of the iceberg, right? Every day I'm still getting people saying, instead of paying this amount for this service, pay a little bit less, or instead of doing this, let's find out a way of working things. So I'm so grateful to all our partners. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to partner with us, if you want to sponsor especially towards the event on Saturday, the account details are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Please, there's no gift that's too big. There's no gift that's too small. We still have a few things that we need to wrap up ahead of Saturday's event. So if you would like to partner with us, if you think this is something valuable, send us a gift so that we can pay off all the things that we have towards Saturday. Thank you so much. Do I have any more announcements, or am I done? Oh, of course. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like what? I don't even know why this is an announcement. This is just what should be. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you missed day 1, you can go back and watch day 1. Day 2 is going to be on immediately after. Feel free to share with your family, your friends, your loved ones, and then hit the notification button so you can be informed once we go live for day 3. There is one question in Start that I think I'm going to answer as we wrap up today. Could you help me put up that question, Naomi? I saw it in the Start questions, and then I'm going to answer that one. Okay, so Sash asked this question, and I saw it earlier on, and I thought it was pivotal. And she said, how do you connect with new friends seamlessly based on the example you gave about connecting to Lady Omomi? First off, I don't connect seamlessly. I am naturally an introvert. I really do not want to meet people. It takes a lot out of me to, connect with people. It is a struggle. It's not my natural how I am naturally. However, I've come to discover that in this life, I don't want to do life alone. And I have been so blessed by the relationships that I've had. I have people who I've known for 30-something years. I have Aya was here earlier on. I've known Aya for 23 years now. I don't know, because we're still like these secondary school girls in my mind, right? But we've known each other for so long, and we've just kept there. Sometimes the deliberateness was on my end. Sometimes the deliberateness was on the other person's end. If I have to give 2, 3, 4 tips, number 1, I would say be friendly. Be friendly. I don't want to throw scripture at you, right? So I'm just going to say there's a book I love, and in it, there's a quote that says, he, in this case, I'm going to say she who has friends must herself be friendly. A lot of the time I walk into a space, especially women's meetings or women's places, and this is what you typically see. The women are either like this, or they're looking down, or they're on their phone, or we don't talk to one another. We don't look at other people. We don't even say, AME is here. My 23 years, I think I've known Ayo for, right? And I'm going to tell you an interesting story about her if you remind me. Let me know in the comment section if you want to hear this story. I have like 2 minutes more, 5 minutes more. I'll tell you this story. Okay. So, number one, be friendly. Smile at people. A simple good morning, hello, how are you doing? What do you do? Then actively listen to what the other person is telling you. Sometimes we're listening to the person, but we don't really want to connect to the person beside us. We want to connect to the big speaker that's on the stage. We want to connect with a mommy. We don't want to connect with a random person that's sitting beside us, right? So learn to connect, right? Then number two is, so that's the first thing, being friendly. The second thing is truly being interested in other people. I was telling, my mom is always asking me sometimes, she's like, how do people, because some of the things people tell me, she's like, how do people tell you these things? I'm like, because genuinely, I want to know. Genuinely, I'm interested in other people. I can be a listener. I can sit down there and listen to you, not because I just want gist, but genuinely because I'm interested in what it is you have to tell me. And I make it known. And the third thing I would say closely linked to that is show those that you love them. You know what I'm queen of doing sometimes? On Instagram, there's some people I just go to, I see what they're doing, I send them a message, well done, this is really great, I'm cheering on for you. Women don't do that as much. Men are great at doing it. Women are like, why should I do it? After all, is she the first? I don't care, I'm not doing it. She's doing it, I think it's great. Let me let her know. I give people their flowers while they're alive to smell it. And I'm not even as good as I want to be because I still cancel launch dates. Ayo knows there was a season. Ayo, I'm better now, am I not? I think I am. There was a season I would be like, okay, I'm coming. And then that day I'm like, please, no, I want to lie in bed and I will not show up. And she will get frustrated. But Budam, you said you'll come. I'm like, I'm not coming again. But now I'm making more of an effort to try and show up for those I actually love. Friendship has to be, you have to sacrifice for your friends, even before they're your friends. And you know, we graduate. Then the fourth thing or the fifth thing, I've lost my numbers now, is don't label people too soon. You know, we like labeling. She's my covenant sister. Ma, what's the definition of covenant sister? As you're saying, what does that really mean? Then covenant sister will do something, your heart will be broken because you've given her a space that she was never meant to occupy in your life. It's okay to say, this is my acquaintance, this is my friend, this is somebody I'm getting to know, this is my sister, this is my bosom paddy. This person occupies many ways in my life, and you need to learn how to navigate if you have people that occupy different positions in your life. So you have a same woman that's a teacher, she's a mentor, she's a coach, she's an I don't know what, then you know, you forget, then she's a friend. But when you're in a mentorship place or you're in a coaching place, you forget that she's sitting in a place as a teacher, a coach. You now become a bit disrespectful. No, now. Then don't abuse access. Don't abuse access. And I can tell you this one from personal stories. There's some people that, you know, I struggle with answering because the small gap I gave, that okay, how far? You abused access. Ma, I want you to mentor me. Ma, you're the next best thing after sliced bread. Those things don't really move me any longer. I'm not the next best thing after sliced bread. Stop. Mentor me, teach me, coach me. Ma, you're the Lord said I should serve you. Woohoo. No, it doesn't mean much. If somebody gives you something to do, remember someone said it, I think it was Adenike that said it yesterday. And I was smiling because I know it's firsthand. If I give people things to do, mentor me, teach me, coach me, go and do one thing. Go and read this book. 98% will not come back. I can't take you seriously if you don't take yourself seriously. So I don't know if that helps, but those are some of the ways. And then I send gifts sometimes because gifts make room for you. So I send gifts to my friends sometimes. Sometimes randomly. I don't even know if I'm getting worse now. I think I'm getting a bit worse. I need to improve as I'm saying this. Right? Before I'll enter a place, my friend will say, oh, I like this or I like that. I'll say, you like it? Oh yeah, take it now. Sometimes it's a bag. I'll say, take it and I'll put my things inside nylon and be going. I'm not telling you folk. I'm telling you things that I've done. It's nothing. It's just that I want to make this other person happy because I genuinely love them. Isn't it? Okay. Final story I'm going to tell you about Ayo. So many years ago, I met Ayo in secondary school. I met her when I was in SS2 for the Nigerian schooling system. So the second to the final year of high school, right, was when I met Ayo. So, she liked me. She was like, I want to be your friend. Okay, I mean, that's a lie. That didn't quite happen that way. But anyway, we became friends, sort of. And then we entered into university. Life happened. I think, stuff happened. And then I remember many years later, I think I was doing my master's at the time. And she, Aya is very real. She's a joyful girl and she's very expressive. I am not expressive. Ayo can be very expressive. So I remember this particular day, I went to visit her in Swansea. And we were both like lying, sitting on the bed. And she starts telling me a story about her life. And she's telling me all this story about all the things, about many things, a really deep story about her life. And then she finishes this outpouring, and inside me, when she was saying, so I was like, okay, that's nice. Okay, so I was making the appropriate sounds as she was talking, like, wow, this happened. And she tells me this whole story. And then she finishes the story and she says, so what about you? What's going on in your life? And it seems like such a simple statement, but it opened up something different in my relationship with Ayo. So me too, I started, because again, I'm not a sharer. I'm just like, so I mumbled and fumbled a bit, but she kept at it. She insisted upon knowing all the things of my heart that day. And then, and our friendship became deeper. And life goes on. And there's probably very little about me that Ayo doesn't know today. But it's because of that, just that intentionality, which I really respect her for. Okay? Ladies, we have 2 minutes. I promised you 9 p.m. We're going to be out of here, 9 p.m. my time, and I intend on keeping that promise. So, thank you for joining us at day 2 of the Refined Ladies Summit. Let me know if this final part was also helpful to you in the comment section. I am going to see you tomorrow. We will go live at 6:55 p.m. We will show a quick recap of today to hear some of the yummy things Omomi was sharing with us. And then we will move into day 3 of the session. I can't believe how fast time is going. Oluremi wants to be friends with me. Girl, let's talk. Let's see. I love you guys. It's truly a joy to be doing this with you. It's truly a joy to serve you in this way. Truly a joy to partner with you in bringing this to life. Thank you for showing up in the comment section. Thank you for being here. And I will see you tomorrow. Stay blessed and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye now. Yay.